September 1st, 1923. At 11:58 in the morning, the ground beneath Tokyo began to shake. What followed would become one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history, an event so catastrophic it reshaped an entire civilization. The Great Kanto Earthquake, and the fire tornado that turned Tokyo into an inferno. On that late summer morning, millions of families across Tokyo and Yokohama were preparing lunch. Charcoal stoves burned in homes across the city. Then, without warning, a magnitude 7.9 earthquake struck, one of the most powerful ever to hit Japan. The shaking lasted nearly 5 minutes. Buildings crumbled, streets buckled, the wooden structures that made up much of Tokyo collapsed in seconds. Fires broke out almost immediately, first from overturned cooking stoves, then from ruptured gas lines, then from the embers carried on the wind. Within hours, what started as dozens of isolated fires merged into a single city-consuming firestorm. The old wooden districts of Tokyo, densely packed, bone-dry from a summer drought, offered no resistance. Neighborhoods burned block by block. But the worst was still to come. At the Army Clothing Depot in the Honjo district, roughly 40,000 people had gathered, seeking refuge in the open ground. They believed the wide space would protect them from the spreading fire. They were wrong. As the fires intensified and converged from multiple directions, a phenomenon known as a fire whirl, a fire tornado, formed over the city. Columns of superheated air spun into a vortex of flame reaching hundreds of meters into the sky, generating winds of over 70 miles per hour. The fire tornado descended on the clothing depot. Within 15 minutes, nearly 38,000 people were killed. It remains one of the single deadliest events in fire history. Witnesses described the sky turning black, a roaring sound like nothing they had ever heard, and walls of fire moving faster than anyone could run. Artists and survivors attempted to capture what they saw. One of the most haunting records is a drawing made in the aftermath, a towering spiral of fire rising over the ruins, rendered in stark, almost otherworldly detail. It became an iconic image of the disaster, a visual testimony to an event that defied description. When the fires finally burned out 2 days later, the scale of destruction was almost incomprehensible. Over 140,000 people were dead or missing. More than half the city of Tokyo had been reduced to ash. Entire neighborhoods simply ceased to exist. Yokohama, Japan's largest port city, was nearly wiped off the map entirely. In the aftermath, Japan faced a moment of reckoning. The disaster exposed the catastrophic vulnerability of densely packed wooden cities. The rebuilding of Tokyo was one of the most ambitious urban reconstruction projects of the 20th century. Wide fire-break boulevards were built, zoning laws were introduced, and modern earthquake-resistant construction began to take shape. The memory of September 1st, 1923 is kept alive to this day. Each year on the anniversary, Japan holds national disaster preparedness drills. The Great Kanto Earthquake did not just destroy a city, it transformed how Japan thinks about resilience, planning, and survival. From the ruins of that terrible day, a modern Tokyo was born.